I mean,
Should we go over the matches?
Well, the first thing I want to say for Rampage, I mean, it's not a speech or anything like that, is that I felt very strongly that they should have opened the show and told everyone this is what happened. You know, because we leave the show on Wednesday, okay? I know we have the big thing back and forth with Moxley and MJF. But the show or Tuesday, I should say, the show on Tuesday, it ends with Adam Page knocked out, and everyone's concerned, and we don't know what's going on. And, you know, to their credit, they were very quick to update you that, you know, when he left the hospital, that he was okay, and you know, just the situation. So they didn't not tell you. But to a lot of the TV audience, again, not everyone knows. And even if you do know, I feel that was a very big thing. It's a world championship match. And even though it did not go as scripted, you know, sometimes whether, you know, reality steps in. And the most important thing that I think people are thinking about is what's going on with Adam Page. And I think they should have opened the show and said, you know, we had this thing. If you don't want to show a clip of it, don't show a clip of it. That's, you know, that's a creative decision. I think that, you know, just go in there and go, you know, Adam Page is okay. He has a concussion. He's in concussion protocol. Just tell the people. I think that it should have been right to start the show, and not saying it. It was just like I'm watching as a fan going like, we had this very unique real life thing happen on the TV show on Tuesday night. This is the first TV after. Just say something about it. That's all. And the fact they didn't, it just, I just feel like it's like you're not taking your fans, you know, you need to treat your fans, you know, like you would do if it was like in any other sport. It was any other thing. You would talk about it on the news. You bring it up. It comes up. You know, like we ended the show. Something really weird happened. Well, this is what happened. And then if you want to turn it into storyline, there's, you know, that can be done. And perhaps, you know, you can pivot and do that and do it to protect Adam Page. I mean, one of the things with that finish that some people who thought maybe this is a work, because you want to think that, you don't want to think it's real, you know, you go in there, what a clever way to have him lose and keep him, you know, without being pinned, and, you know, create a little story for him. And you could do that. Now, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But it's something that was kind of handed to you, so I would say do it. But yeah, I just felt that was the first thing that they needed to do to address on the show. Aside from that, it was not a good Rampage, to say the least. It was just, I don't know, you know, just not particularly good.
Well, we had the Acclaim beating the Varsity Athletes in 8 minutes to get the scissoring trademark back, and it was fine.
It was all right.
I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
Then they had promised that Jade Cargill was going to do a sit in the middle of the ring and not leave until she got her belt back. So they do the whole opening match, and they go backstage, and Jade's there. And essentially they said, well, you know, tonight we're going to do Layla Gray versus Willow Nightingale because Penelope Ford is injured. And if you wait, when the match is over, you'll have an opportunity to get your belt back.
They made a deal so they didn't open the show with it.
And Jade is like, okay, well, I guess we'll find out now.
Okay.
That's what she said.
So that was fine.
Okay. So then we had a segment with Ortiz, the Lucha Brothers, Eddie Kingston, and they're talking about Eddie Kingston's temper, and Pac is disappointed in Eddie for his behavior.
So Penta is on the show, and there's no mention made of Penta and Jon Moxley.
No.
No.
No. Hook beat Ari Daivari.
It may be that he came up with the idea later. But to me, it's like, you know, you should.
That's a pretty big thing you should talk about.
You absolutely should talk about it. You should go like, Penta's getting a match on Wednesday for the championship. That's why I think it may have been a late addition.
So Hook beats Daivari and then chokes out Jeeves, the butler, afterwards.
And that was fine.
Yeah, we had Stokely Hathaway and Ethan Page backstage, and Matt Hardy performs a rap, which causes Ethan Page and Stokely to walk away disgusted.
I didn't really. I
don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, well, I think that's the idea. The idea is that maybe he's okay. So he's under contract. Maybe he's trying to like weird his way out of his contract.
I guess.
You know, I mean, the whole thing is kind of like a spoof on everything anyway, you know, but yeah, he just like unnerved them to where they just sort of left, and no private party there, and
private party's been sent to the training school, is what they said.
They did say that, yes.
Yeah, they got to learn how to work.
They're trying to get the Matt Hardy stink off of him.
Yes. Willow Nightingale, Layla Gray, they went 8 long minutes, which was too long, and Willow Nightingale, of course, won. And then Tony Schiavone comes down to the ring, and out comes Jade Cargill.
Well,
they announced that Willow has signed a contract.
They announced that Willow signed a contract.
And she's celebrating when Jade Cargill interrupts.
Okay, let me just get some Willow looked so good in the match with Jade, and somehow this match, she did not look so good.
Well, I'm afraid this somehow is Layla Gray. This
Okay.
has been an ongoing thing that I've noticed in her matches. But Tony Schiavone comes out, and he does the Willow Nightingale deal, and then out comes Jade. And she puts her chair in the ring, and she says, I am not leaving until I get my belt back. So they cut outside, and outside in the parking lot is Nyla Rose,
Marina and Vicky,
and they have somehow gotten the keys to Jade's car from the valet.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So they have stolen her car, and they've stolen her belt, and they drive off. Jade says, I'm sick of this shit. I said I'm not leaving until I get my belt back, so I'm going to sit here, and I'm not leaving, she says. So she sits there for like 5 seconds. They send 3 geeks out. She beats them up, and then she leaves.
I just don't know how to explain that at all. I cannot explain that. That was like...
That was WCW.
That was WCW.
Yes.
That was WCW,
I'm afraid that was World Championship Wrestling right there.
I will mention, before we go on, the Athena thing.
Well, there was a match on Dark, and Athena just absolutely... I forget the other woman's name, but man, she just all of a sudden just destroyed her. And she just pounded on her, and she gave her I don't care what anybody says, an unsafe, dumped her over the top rope. I mean, she went over the top rope, and her feet didn't even touch the ground. She went all the way to the top rope, landed on her side. I mean, I don't know, dude. That was bad.
So on this show, in the Dark, it wasn't Dark Elevation, it was the Dark show that they taped. Athena wrestled Diamante and pretty much healed on her after the match. So it looks like Athena is going heel off of that thing.
We had Orange Cassidy, Roosh, and 10 in the main event, and they got 12 minutes. And Orange Cassidy and Roosh...
All Atlantic title.
Yep, they did a good job. And, you know, we were talking about as we watched the show, one of the issues with a lot of these guys is you got 10 in there. It's now been 3 years. And he has not improved dramatically in 3 years. And a lot of these guys and women, they need to wrestle more matches.
Yes.
And not just matches on Dark.
Yeah, not 2 minute matches.
I know
or
they
even 5
don't.
minute matches.
Yeah, I know they don't want to do indies because they don't want people to get hurt. But how many people get hurt regularly working indies?
I mean, people
it happens from time to time.
Happen.
But it happens on TV too.
People get hurt.
And in the long run, it's going to be more valuable for a guy like 10 to go out there and get it. And actually, he just, was it 10 that showed up for Impact?
No, who are we talking about?
Who?
Frankie Kazarian was on
No,
Impact.
there's somebody else. I think it actually might have been 10. But anyway.
No, Alan Angels is on.
Or Alan Angels.
Yeah, but Alan Angels isn't with them anymore anyway. Yeah.
Well, he made that cameo.
What?
Did he make that cameo in, who made the cameo and showed up in Canada?
That was Stu Grayson.
Stu Grayson.
Yeah, he looks a little bit because they're both bald, yeah.
All right. Anyway, the point of this is these guys need to be out working, right?
Absolutely. I think that I've written about this, and there's people in the company who I've discussed this with. And, you know, I mean, I get Tony not wanting guys to get hurt, but especially because so many guys do get hurt. And, you know, you have to pay guys, you know, all that, right? But the younger guys that are less experienced, maybe the top guys don't need to be working indies because they're not going to get any better. Like if you're like, say,
I don't think FTR needs to be doing a lot of indie dates.
Even though they are, but that's what they're doing it for
Sure.
fun. Okay,
Yes.
but let's just Sammy Guevara, just as an example. Okay, Sammy Guevara